What's up, YouTube? This is Sean from Broadsword Media. Sorry for the delay. This video was supposed to be done weeks ago, I know. I've had a very, very busy month of September, but I got it done. I'll be doing MLB postseason predictions. I'll have those done on time. I'll make sure of that. Jack and I had recorded this video at the beginning of the month, or last month, whatever. So I feel the need to at least have this done for both of us. And I hope you still enjoy, even if the predictions are out of date. Alright, well, before we start doing our sleepers, our disappointments and surprises, I'd like to point out that last year we were right with some of our sleepers and disappointments, actually.
My surprise team in the AFC is Raiders. I don't think they're going to make the playoff or anything, but I think they're going to surprise some people, and hence the word surprise. And, you know, get some big wins and maybe upset some teams and maybe even spoil some teams' playoff hopes. I guess I would go with the Vikings as being a surprise team. I know they are up on the rise, but they might surprise each other and do even better than their expectations this year. So yeah, Vikings is my surprise team in the NFC.
I think the Dolphins are going to improve a lot this year, but they also have the greatest chance of really disappointing this year. Ryan Tannehill does seem to get better with every year, but he's never really gotten up to that really elite status. So there is still the chance that they might kind of not do as well as most people would expect. So that's the team I got as the most likely to disappoint out of the AFC. Now on the NFC side, I think the team most likely to disappoint is the Philadelphia Eagles. I do believe they'll be a great team this year, but their starting quarterback is Sam Bradford. He missed all of 2014, and he is pretty injury prone. So we don't know how good he'll actually play, missing an entire season, and with the limited playing time he's been having over his career. And there's also the chance he can just get injured again. So I see the Eagles as the most likely to disappoint from the NFC.
Alright, so this year our sleepers are different. In the AFC, I have the Bills as a sleeper. I don't think it's not likely that they're going to be good, but it wouldn't surprise me too much if maybe somehow they kind of found a way to sneak themselves in there a little bit. And in the NFC side for sleepers, I got the Rams. The Rams have always they have a losing season every year, but they're always in the thick of it every time. And to be honest, they probably have a winning team if they weren't in such a competitive NFC West division anyways. So I could see them shocking people with Todd Gurley and, you know, their new quarterback.
So sleepers for me, Jacksonville Jaguars. They improve every single year. They're getting better and better. Good defense. Bortles is a good quarterback. Robinson is a top 5 wide receiver. Maybe top 6, might be a stretching that. And I think that the Jaguars are a sleeper. They have a chance to even win the division if they play well enough. They beat the Colts both games. They could win the division. NFC, New York Giants. I like the Giants a lot. They have a great offense like they always do. Eli Manning, great quarterback. Defense will be improved this year now that they have Pierre-Paul back from his hand injury from blowing up a firecracker or probably an M80 in his hand. Bad move, lost some fingers for it.
Yeah.
But he'll be back, and I think that team's going to be improved, and I think they're probably going to be on pace for a good season. They might even take the division. So I have them as a sleeper. For disappointments, I'd have to say the Broncos. For me, the Broncos are a disappointment because, well, they won the Super Bowl last year. How could you possibly do better?
Yeah, that's true.
And they're not going to do the same. They have no quarterback. So new coach. The coach likes the running game, so they're probably going to run the ball a lot better. They have that same great defense, but I don't see them making the playoffs, and that's a disappointment to me. For the NFC, Cowboys, whether Romo's healthy or not, I just think that team is full of problems. They have tons and tons of talent, but they have no chemistry. So I see the Cowboys as being a big disappointment this year. A lot of people have them winning the division, and even going far in the playoffs, I don't see that. I think the Skins and the Giants are both better teams.
All right, well, I do disagree about the AFC disappointment because
they do have Mark Sanchez, who has not proven to be a good quarterback at all, but even when the Jets had him in 2009, 2010, they were still going to the AFC Championship because of that defense, and the Broncos have that kind of defense. My pick for the AFC disappointment was actually, I'm a fan of them, but I'm just picking the Raiders just because there's always that chance that maybe like some injuries happen or something bad comes along, because that happened in 2011. That's exactly what happened in 2011 when they were on pace to easily take the division, and one injury made sure they couldn't. So that's my pick in the AFC. On the NFC side, I completely agree with you about the Cowboys, although for different reasons, because I still think with Tony Romo there, they'll take the division. Without him, they won't, and they'll probably have a season similar to last year.
Okay, well, yeah, so disappointments we both think are the Cowboys. The thing is, any team in the league, one injury can change it. So in the case of the Raiders, I don't think one injury will really change it unless it's Derek Carr. I mean, look, Colts, one injury. Andrew Luck, they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Tony Romo, they're not going to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Any team that has one big injury is not going to make it. So that's really no reason to say that the Raiders won't make it. They're a pretty complete team.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're a really solid team. I just kind of want to see them prove it on the field a little more just before I can just say, oh, yeah, they're the best team ever kind of thing.
Well, they're definitely not the best team ever, but
yeah,
in the division, I think they are.
Yeah, and that's a reasonable prediction. I mean, a lot of people are picking them too, and there's good reason because they do have a very versatile team overall. And then you said we had a brand new category. We called it, last year we called sleepers surprise teams, but we really should have called it sleepers. This year you came up with the an actual surprise teams category.
Yeah, surprisingly good that we wouldn't expect.
Yeah, that we just would not expect at all. And you have the Jaguars as a sleeper because they are expected to improve. I actually have them as a surprise because I expect them to not be so good, but it would be a surprise if they took the division. They're a young team, they're up and coming, and they are capable of doing it with a solid quarterback like Blake Bortles, who's probably the second best quarterback in the AFC South, only behind Andrew Luck. And obviously they have Allen Robinson, their receiver. The only receiver in that division that's better is probably the Texans' DeAndre Hopkins, I think. DeAndre Hopkins, yeah. So I see the Jaguars as a potential surprise team that could shock everybody and even take the division. In the NFC side, I'm picking the Eagles. I don't expect them to be good at all, even if Sam Bradford plays the whole year. But who knows? Sam Bradford has on occasion has played pretty good when he's healthy, and they have other components on their team that could help them along the way too. So they could potentially sneak in there, especially since the NFC East is such a bad division as it is already. They have the potential to take it, even though I expect them to get last.
Awesome. Yeah, I like your picks. For my surprises, I have in the NFC, well, let's go AFC first, American Football Conference, Tennessee Titans. The reason why I have them as surprisingly good is nobody's giving them a chance to do anything at all. They're going to have a good running game. They've got DeMarco Murray and the number one guy out of Alabama. I think his name's Henry. Derrick Henry. That's right. Yeah. Derrick Henry out of Alabama. Probably one of the biggest, craziest, scariest running backs since Bo Jackson.
Oh, wow.
So I'm thinking the Titans are going to be able to run the ball. If they can play defense, they can do well there too. Mariota in his second season. And a pretty decent core of wide receivers. To go on to the surprises for the NFC, I have the other quarterback taken last year, Jameis Winston, the Buccaneers. Man, I've seen Winston make some throws that I would not expect. He just throws it and it just drops right in there. And with Mike Evans, they're going to do a lot of great things down there in Tampa Bay. Not to mention they got the running game back on track. If Doug Martin has another season and doesn't have another frog season and fall off like he's done before, that offense is looking good. Defense, I'm not sure about, but overall, I think Tampa is going to be really surprisingly good this year.
Yeah, I think those are both very reasonable picks because obviously the Titans once again were tied for the worst record last year, so they can only really go up from there. You know, they have to improve. And then of course the Buccaneers, they improved from, what was it, 2-14 or 3-13 or whatever to 7-9, and that's a pretty solid improvement. And if Winston does better his second year, they're very well in the thick of things.
Absolutely. Both quarterbacks that were 1 and 2 last year, I think both teams as well are going to be improving overall.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks so much for watching our 2016 NFL predictions, and we look forward to your comments in the comment section. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.
All right. Thank you.
All right.